Mr. Bell is in court to dodge responsibility. He cut all ties with Ms. Cousin and her mother just to deny that the baby is his. Isn't that something? In fact, he's so insistent that he's not the father, he went completely off the radar, making sure he was unreachable. Ms. Cousinell and her mother aren't about to let him off the hook that easily.
He told my daughter that he was single, that he was not in a relationship. When she started being with him, you came to a relative house to pick her up one weekend with her bag.
Mr. Bell, hold on.
And you took her with you. You had your cousin in the car. You greet me. You hugged me.
What a two-timing liar Mr. Bell is. He doesn't even want Ms. Cousin to finish a single sentence. He's doing everything to shut her down. Things are really heating up in that courtroom. Ms. Cousin's irritation is palpable, and you can tell she's been holding on to this frustration for far too long. She's got so much to unload on this man, and now the floodgates have opened.
Every time I go out to get lunch, he right behind me. What you eating for lunch? Can you buy me something? Meet me downtown, talking about can I pay his phone bill every time I get paid.
When she should have been.
Were you paying his phone bill?
Yes, while she was paying his phone bill and paying him, buying him lunch, I was also doing other things for me and my husband have a roof over our head.
Look at Ms. Cousin go off. Mr. Bell, how on earth is a woman you're not even married to paying your phone bills and feeding you every time you're out? This man is a textbook manipulator. He's out here living the high life on Ms. Cousin's dime, never once returning the favor. If he's been pulling this stunt every single time, it's no wonder she's reached her breaking point.
Were you flirting with her at work?
Yeah.
You had sex with...
In a car.
Oh, okay, so you had sex in a car. Did you use protection?
Yes.
No lie.
See the tears in your eyes. What are you feeling right now?
Because he lied. He know he lied. Why would you lie on me for no reason?
Because he felt your weakness.
Oh, Mr. Bell is not about to let this one slide. Mr. Bell is sitting there blatantly lying in court, even though he had the audacity to bring his baby mama along for backup. Like, really? He already admitted to flirting with this woman at work and having sex with her in a car? So why deny the rest of it now, Mr. Bell? The truth is practically dripping off the table, yet here he is, trying to weasel out of the mess he's made.
And told her that it's not mine. The first thing, I don't want no baby by you anyway.
Wait, I don't want a baby by you anyway is different from the baby is not yours. Which did she say?
Both.
Why you lying?
Real.
Boy, you don't do that but lie.
Man,
It's
just give me
lying.
a man so I can go on my...
Looks like we're not getting an ounce of truth out of Mr. Bell today. What's this guy's deal? He's changing his story on the fly, twisting every detail to fit his narrative. Now he's claiming he can't even remember what Ms. Cousin said to him accurately? Convenient, right? With every question, his story shifts a little more. It's like watching a bad soap opera unfold.
I was pregnant with our second daughter, and I guess you could say a mutual friend happened to recognize Cortez on her page, like for his pictures and stuff like that, and he asked if Cortez and I were still together, and I was just like, you know, of course. So he gave me her name or whatever. I searched for her on Instagram. Of course I'm gonna search.
Oh, poor girl. You're really buying into that? Honey, let me tell you something. If your man were 100% clean, there's no way you'd ever stumble upon a page where another woman is posting his picture talking about how much she loves him. That kind of thing doesn't even exist in a faithful relationship. If it's out there, that's your red flag waving in the wind.
We slept together 3 times, unprotected, and he know that.
Where'd you all go?
We'll go anywhere.
Where we went? Where did we go?
In the car, it don't matter.
Where did we go?
And we went
Since
to the
was
club
on a
with
date.
your cousin them. You know that.
So what you're saying is you all would go out or have sex, but he'd always leave.
Yes.
Whoa, whoa. Mr. Bell is in full denial mode now, huh? What's next? He's going to deny they ever had sex at all? Or better yet, pretend they've never even met. The man is spinning every lie he can think of, and his girlfriend is right there supporting him through it all.
Mr. Bell, I'm getting tired of your side talking, because I'm going to tell you what it looks like. Every time they go to testify, you talking over them, and the only thing it looks like to me is that you don't want me to hear what they're saying because they're telling the truth. I'm about tired of this little attitude you got, because you got a nice girl. But you over there sniffing up at this little girl at work, letting her buy you food and pay your phone bill. Now you here in this courtroom. Don't be mad at nobody but yourself, baby.
Finally, she's saying what we're all thinking. Mr. Bell, you're not fooling anyone with your lies or manipulative tactics. No one's buying it. Just let the women speak without your annoying side comments, because they gave you the same courtesy when you gave your statement.
He told me that he came over there. That's when she messaged me on Facebook. And when I asked him, he told me no. And then when I hear that something about a truck, he doesn't have a truck, so if he stays with me, I know exactly what he has.
It was an Impala. Yeah.
If it was a truck, she said a truck.
Well,
She didn't know. How many Impala trucks do you know?
Well, does he have an Impala, Miss King?
My father has one.
So he driving your dad's car to our house. Ain't that so, sweetie?
I'ma stop.
Oh, now he's really gone and done it. Mr. Bell is denying he even went to her mom's house with both Ms. Cousin and her mother right there. The lies just keep coming and it's getting exhausting. Hopefully Judge Lake can wrap this up quick. The DNA results are in and we're about to find out the truth.
Mr. Bell, you are the father.
Thank you, Lord Jesus. You got two innocent women standing here.
Both of them crying.
Sad and hard.
And you got your hands behind your back and your body language is saying you could care less.
The court case is about Ms. Franzoni, her mother, and potential biological father. According to her claims, Ms. Camille, her mother is literally a bad woman, and she's the reason she had to spend her entire life up to this point without a father figure. However, she's more than sure that the man waiting outside the courtroom, Mr. Mark Bromar, is her biological father. But is the man in question really her father? And how did her mother wrong her? Let's find out together.
Ms. Franzoni, you say that you believe in your heart after 3 decades of questions and doubts that you know the identity of your biological father. You claim your mother, Mrs. Bailey, has misled you, abandoned you, and hidden the truth from you your entire life. Now today, you've brought her to court to learn the results of a paternity test.
Ms. Franzoni claims that the man her mom made her to believe is her father isn't really her father. Okay, that's a very strong claim, and we can't help but wonder why she would doubt her mother's words. Isn't her mother in the best position to point out who her real father is? Something isn't right, and the deeper we go into it, the more clarity we will get.
I grew up not knowing my dad, and I only had 2 moms in my life, my godmother and my mom, and it's just at some point there was some doubt about who exactly was my father. And my mom had introduced me to a gentleman, and I just did not feel in my heart that he was my father.
Apparently, she's been hearing rumors from trusted sources that Mr. Bromar could be her biological father. According to her, she and the man in question share many characteristics. As a result, she believes those rumors are true. Now, who are those trusted sources that make her doubt her mother's words?
I just wasn't satisfied. And also, you know, my late grandmother told me a story that kind of sounded similar to the other stories that I heard about a gentleman, Mark Bromar, my mother met years ago, right around the time of my conception. And 9 months later, here was me.
Ms. Hallams confirms her goddaughter's claims when she steps upon the podium to give her testimony. But as she states her claims, Ms. Camille cuts in to refute them. Ms. Camille believes her daughter's godmother has always been trying to turn her daughter against. Now, how true is that?
For one thing, when Miss Camille told me that she was pregnated, I asked her who she was pregnated by, and she said Mark Beaumont or the other candidate.
I did not say that. She's making that up. I did not tell her that.
Even though she argued that Mr. Mark isn't her daughter's biological father, Ms. Camille did admit to some things that further increases the chances that the rumors might be true. But the crazy thing is this. Ms. Camille claims that she and Ms. Hallam choose to change the story behind Ms. Franzoni's paternity for some reasons only known to them. This is a really messed up situation.
Mr. Beaumont being one of them.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, take me back and let me understand this situation.
We were not in a relationship. It was some just, you know, I was young. We did this, that, and the other. Maxine and I got together. It was her idea that we would just, you know, create this story.
Here is where it gets more interesting. Ms. Camille tells the court the reason she believes her daughter didn't accept the man she introduced to her as her father. But the truth is, we don't get to decide who our biological parents are. Things like that are way beyond us.
5 years ago, when she came back to Cincinnati, I introduced her to him. He was in a bad situation. I could, if somebody took me to meet my father and he was in that type of situation, I would stomp my feet and not want him to be my father either.
Rather than accepting her mother's claims, the plaintiff claims creates her own argument. She claims her mother's words aren't enough to convince her, but we all know the substantial proof the DNA test will offer, so we all have to play the waiting game till the results are read.
That's her father.
I mean, but even if I didn't, even if she told me, I still wouldn't have believed it because I want concrete, factual evidence.
And I understand that.
It's evident that Ms. Camille had a messy past, and that led to the situation on ground right now. Again, Ms. Hallam alleges that Ms. Franzoni's mother once told her about the possibility of Mr. Mark being her child's biological father. But here's the thing, it's just her words against hers at this point.
Now, there is reason to doubt.
Let me explain it to you.
Miss Halos, please.
Renee, Mrs. Camille, told me that it was either Mark Beaumont or the other man.
I did not tell you
Now,
that.
she don't remember Mark Beaumont. She told Maxina that I was making this up for years.
Now, it feels like this case is beyond just trying to prove who Ms. Franzoni's biological father is. It feels like a battle between two mothers. Apparently, Miss Camille failed as a mother in the early years of her daughter's life, and Ms. Hallam stepped up. But now, she's fighting to claim her daughter back. But we don't need a paternity test for that, do we?
You know, if Maxine
They got the
would
DNA
stop
test.
meddling
If they got the DNA
and
test.
let me and my daughter have our own relationship, she's done this for years. I know I wasn't the best
It ain't
mother.
been
I
for
know, and I
years.
appreciate this woman for being there, because she was. But the meddling and the trying to compete.
And the remembering.
It's time to hear Mr. Bromar's side of the story. He claims his relationship with Ms. Camille wasn't a lengthy one, but they had sexual relations. Another thing is this, the window of conception. And when they were together, further increases his chances of being Ms. Franzoni's biological father.
And I ended up in her mother's building, and I was questioning her mother.
And you met her.
And her mother said, listen, I have a beautiful daughter that I would really like for you to meet. When she came in, I met her, and so we talked for a while and took her out to dinner.
Now we get why this case broke the internet, but as interesting as it's been, we've to get to the main reason this court hearing took place, the DNA test. So let's cut to the chase.
Mr. Beaumont, you are not her father. I'm sorry to you both.
You know, like a princess, like Cinderella, like everything that every little girl can imagine wanting and having from their father. So it's just been a great experience on that level, and I don't want it to change either anyway.
Mr. Harrison is not here to play. He is suing Ms. Grant for paternity fraud. He's claiming he's not their daughter's real father and that she totally played him into believing he was. Yikes! That's a serious accusation. But let's buckle up and see how this drama unfolds.
Harrison, explain, why are you suing for fraud?
Well, Your Honor, I signed my acknowledgement for paternity for my daughter, and I've done everything for her since the day she's been born. I've had several people come to me through Facebook and through text messaging on my phone.
All right, Ms. Grant gets a point for that one. She's absolutely right, Mr. Harrison. That's what happens when you make a baby with someone else. You share those genes. So it's pretty unrealistic to expect the kid to look exactly like you. Come on, Mr. Harrison, get with the program.
She got upset and she said, you know, I just don't want to do this anymore. I just don't want to do it anymore.
I didn't want to have to keep lying to him, Your Honor. I got tired of, being dishonest and being disrespectful in my relationship. And I gave him every option to, decide what he wanted to do.
Wait, so Ms. Grant's been cheating the whole time they were together? That's wild. She finally came clean just because she was sick of dragging him along and dealing with all that frustration. Wow, what a piece of work.
Help me move the washer turns into, I just don't want to do this.
It turns into him getting frustrated and fussing and cursing. And I said, you know what? I can't do this anymore with you.
It makes sense. It's crazy how all that built-up frustration in their relationship made even a simple task blow up into a huge issue. Who knew that bringing in the washer would be the final straw for both of them? That really led to the end of their relationship.
This person was a friend of mine. I had met this person when I was 18 years old. I was a single parent of a 2-year-old daughter at the time. He helped me with her. He helped me financially. He has bought cars. He has paid rent. He has paid bills, okay?
All right, Ms. Grant, what a friend you've got there. Cars and all, huh? It's nice that this person stepped in and filled the gaps that other men couldn't. But let's be real, it's still pretty messed up that she kept this secret from her husband for all those years.
Was this strictly platonic or was this a sexual relationship?
At times it was sexual, but for the most part, it was platonic while I was with Mr. Harrison.
But this whole
And how did you manage to do this for 15 years, but 8 years while you were with Mr. Harrison?
This woman just confessed that it wasn't just a casual platonic friendship. Can you believe that? So for all those 15 years, she was juggling 2 relationships, sometimes even at the same time. It seems like she's finally ready to take responsibility for the lies she told and the truth she tried to hide. That response was wild. What a real liar.
What about all your misdeeds?
Every single
Don't sit
one
there
of
and
them.
act like you haven't cheated on me.
I'm not saying
He
that.
cheated on me with someone who is, he's an indie pro wrestler. He cheated on me with someone who they call ring rats. They call them ring rats for a reason, Your Honor.
Okay.
Whoa, so he cheated as well. This is getting juicy. A ring rat, huh? Looks like Ms. Grant is racking up another point. It's starting to feel like these two showed up in court just to unload all their marital issues on Judge Lake from the get-go.
So do you also admit, Ms. Grant, to basically defrauding him, basically saying this is your child when you knew for certain that it was not his child? Did you?
All right then. So that's what he's suing her for. Ms. Grant admits she might have twisted the truth at key moments in their relationship, but there's one thing she won't accept: the idea that she lied about their daughter's paternity. She insists she never did that.
I have people right now telling me that I ought to be ashamed of myself for even being here to prove to this man who I am in love with at this very moment, even though he is accusing me of not knowing who the father of my child is, that I ought to be ashamed of myself wanting to come in front of you and prove to him and the rest of the world that yes, I've done wrong, but I'm willing to admit that and I'm willing to right those wrongs.
Ms. Grant is completely losing it in the courtroom. She knows she's lied to him before and admits it, but paternity fraud? Oh, no way. She's not accepting that accusation. It's starting to feel like there's nothing more to discuss with Mr. Harrison. If your husband doesn't trust a single word you say after 8 years of marriage, that speaks volumes.
Mr. Harrison, you are her father.
I told you.
How do you feel, Ms. Grant?
I feel vindicated, Your Honor. Absolutely. I may have lied about my affair, but I know who the father of my child is.
Case definitely broke the internet after it was aired. An old couple are in court today to confirm the paternity of their 23-year-old daughter. Now, you would be wondering why they waited this long if there have always been doubts about her paternity. Well, at least they are here now. So let's hear their story.
Ms. Connolly, you are here today to petition the court for a paternity test for your 23-year-old daughter, Artisha Connolly.
Yes.
You say that you were sleeping with another man during the time Artisha was conceived, and after 23 years, you still don't know for sure if Mr. Harrison is your daughter's biological father.
Ms. Artesia Connolly shares how hurtful it was for her to grow up without a father figure in her life. She claims her potential biological father was never there for her since was born, and that's why they are all in court today to get clarity on her paternity. As she gives her testimony, you can see how emotional the situation makes her feel.
I've experienced feelings of abandonment. I've been lonely. I've never had a lot of friends. I've only kept about 2 or 3 friends. And on the top of that, people didn't like me, and I've always wondered, why is it that this person doesn't want to be involved with me? And then I have to deal with the reality of my own father, who's alive and well, not in jail, not dead, not in another state.
Now, why would you take care of kids that aren't yours and neglect a child that could be yours for over 20 years? Mr. has got some real explanation to give, and boy, he gave substantial reasons for his doubts and actions. And believe me when I tell you this, you couldn't have imagined what his reasons for neglecting his fatherly role for Ms. Artesia are.
I had my doubt down through the years. Despite the fact of my doubt, I should have and could have done a better job, but I didn't.
Explain to the court your doubt. Where did your doubt begin?
Well, when we met, we had a relationship, and one daughter was born, and at the time, she said, well, that's not your child.
But it wasn't your child.
Right, so I just kept on.
It was proven to be so.
Right.
Fascinatingly, Mrs. Connolly confessed that at first she wasn't sure who Ms. Artesia's biological father was. She felt embarrassed about the possibility of the child not being Mr. Harrison's because she had disappointed him with the previous child she conceived. Knowing that the first child she had wasn't his, it's only natural for him to have the doubts he's always had about being Ms. Artesia's biological father. It's surely a hard pill to swallow.
I was a party girl, like, you know, when I used to go out a lot, I used to sell drugs, hang in the street, party animal. And at that time, Linda came in my life. I was walking down the street, he was driving down the street, and he picked me up like, you know, like I was a trick or something, you know, like he was looking for some fun or something. At the time, we exchanged numbers, you know, and he gave me some money, and then through the years, he romanced me, he picked me up from work, brought me flowers, picked me up.
The interesting thing is this, he stayed married to her even though she cheated on him with someone else and had a baby for the other man. Whoa. He must have really loved her so much that he allowed his feelings for her cloud. his judgment. With all that she did to him and his capability to forgive and move on with her, you would expect her to quit her street life and focus on her family, but she didn't.
Somehow you all stayed together.
Yeah, we stayed together, and because I tried to be a good wife, I was, still selling drugs, doing things that I was, out in the street, partying, having fun. Then they would go to work, come home. I was a good person, I'll be there, take care of the kids. When my girlfriend come around, he'll babysit, or I take the baby to my mom, and we'll go out, because he was born. He was a Bama.
The question remains, though, why are Mrs. Connolly and her daughter requesting for a DNA test now? Why didn't they ask for it years ago if they were certain Mr. Harrison is Ms. Artesia's biological father? Does sound fishy, doesn't it? The whole situation fueled the defendant's doubts even more, and we can't blame him for that, can we?
My point is that I think 23 years, if they're asking the question, why now, why not now? But I think just because it stopped a long time ago, she would have went to court and asked for child support. That would have solved all this right then and there.
She said she did.
I did. I've been to
never took me to court and asked for child support.
Nobody can find you. You're always gone.
Besides
You're
support, it ain't your job to find me. The law will find me.
I found you now.
If I'm guilty, the law will find me, and they'll bring me to justice.
In her defense, Mrs. Connolly tries to make a point that she was behind bars when she had Ms. Artesia, so she couldn't reach Mr. Harrison herself. But hold on a second. Didn't she confess that she had sexual relations with other men besides him? So that means he isn't the only man who could be her daughter's biological father.
But let me explain to you. I was in prison. My mom and my dad had my children. So my mom, she was getting public assistance. The court was trying to find them, and they couldn't find them because if you want public assistance, they automatically try to get you public child support. We'll try to find them.
So your mother had the court trying to find him, but they could not find him.
Right, no.
But
apparently, Mr. Harrison did try to reach out to Ms. Artesia when she was 18, but they didn't get along. Afterward, she tried reaching out to him, but it was difficult for her to locate him. But when she finally did, he couldn't recognize her.
All through the pictures, this is the only picture that she has with him since she was a baby. She hasn't seen him no more than 5 times through her entire life.
My first semester at college, that's when I met him. That's when I first spent time with him. It was weird. He was trying to be a father, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I just turned 18. I'm about to go party.
Moving forward, Ms. Artesia understands why her potential father has doubts about being her biological father. But what she isn't ready to settle with is him not treating her fairly. She believes he didn't put in enough effort to get the situation resolved. On that note, we can agree with her. Mr. Harrison should have done the needful regardless of his doubts.
The root of his doubt, where it comes from.
Yes, I do, but it takes two. It takes 2 people to have a child, and if he had doubts, he should have tried himself. You can't just blame it on her.
I'm not even talking about blame. I'm talking about doubt. Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand.
Now we get why this case broke the internet, but we still haven't gotten to the root of the matter. Is Mr. Harrison Ms. Artesia's biological father or not? Only the DNA test result can reveal that, so let's hear it.
Mr. Harrison, you are her father.
Congratulations. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well,
I never introduced her into my family for my doubt. I let my doubt get the best of me.
Today's